Yeah, yeah. What they say? I'm so divine, I'm so divine. Imperfection, perfection, my presence shines. My mental's parasailing maritime. They say I'm destined to read the palm line. Yeah, I'm so divine, I'm so divine. Imperfection, perfection, my presence shines. My mental's parasailing maritime. They say I'm destined to read the palm line. Yeah, I'm so divine.
Welcome to the H.G.R.G podcast, episode 23. How are we doing today, fellas?
We out here. I just signed my new contract, my 14-episode contract.
23.
I'm living out here. You know what I'm saying? I bought myself a new hoodie. You know what I'm saying? We out here.
It looks good on you, bro. It looks good. Let me ask you a question, guys. DT, you still with us?
I just told you, bye. You guys gave me a contract I couldn't refuse.
Sign the dotted line, baby. Sign the dotted line. Listen,
sign your life away. Okay.
So today on episode 23, what we're gonna do is a little different for you guys. All right, a video went viral. Today we want to sit there and break it down for you guys, give you our perspective on the video. It has to do with real estate, so we figured we would dive in for you guys. A lot of people think that everything is bubbly and it's great and all peaches and cream, but here we always give you the good, the bad, and the ugly. And this video has a lot to do with that. It's a reality of real estate and owning real estate. So we figured we dive in with you guys for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Please once we show it, watch it, respond, comment. We ask you to do the same thing. Comment below. Let us know whether you agree, disagree. Perspectives are different. You know what I mean? If you don't agree, that's fine. If you do, that's fine. If there was a word or two you think we should have said, say it. Talk to us.
Yeah, we here for you guys, man. We're gonna talk. This is gonna be a good one because this goes against everything that we talk about. So absolutely, this is gonna be a good one. This is gonna be definitely a good one.
This one is near and dear to my heart right here.
Well, listen, with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the breakdown. All right, let's jump into the video here. Let's take a look at it. This seems to be a situation where, there is a tenant that doesn't want to get out or believes that she belongs there. And let's go ahead and break this down.
To learn y'all rights in this country. Don't be trying to do things to people just because you think that you the boss, because you a homeowner.
Hey, I'm gonna let you guys get your phone back.
Hello, sir. How you doing? I'm letting you know that I'm recording for my home.
That's fine.
Can we talk?
Yes, absolutely.
This is the information. I don't need your shit because I'm gonna be out of here tomorrow. Like I said, goodbye. Have a good night. I don't want to talk to you. Goodbye. Good night. Goodbye. Get the fuck out. Y'all should.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
Hold up. Shut the door.
Let's break
Let's
break that down right away.
Whoa. First of all, I own that property. You gonna tell me the fuck out my face?
Yeah, that's legally she can say that.
Legally. So what do we notice in this video? She's not removed, and who's there?
Landlord, cops, everybody.
The police and the landlord
and the property manager.
Once you watch the video, I think it's only the property manager and the police. I don't think the owner's there.
I think you're wrong, but we can watch it. We keep on going.
Regardless, property management, owner.
It doesn't matter.
Police
can't physically go remove somebody out of the property without having the proper protocol in place.
So you're telling me, I own that property.
Mm-hmm.
You're not paying. Mm-hmm. I can't roll up to my property and kick you the hell out. No,
sir. You can go to jail for that.
You as the owner.
Yeah. I'm only playing devil's advocate because I kind of know the answer.
Yeah, of course.
You're telling me I could go to jail for me touching my property.
Well, if you go to your property and you walk up to it and you touch the house, you can't go to jail.
Right, but if you try to touch the tenant,
you try to touch me, the tenant.
I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you, the tenant. I'm throwing all your stuff out.
You can go to jail. That's
you cannot do that.
How are you gonna get to my stuff? That's breaking an entry.
I got the key.
That's breaking an entry.
Yeah, in my property.
Yeah. because me as a tenant, I signed a lease and I have lawful rights to whatever in the interior of this property. And in order for you to access the interior of this property, you got to give me 24-hour notice or whatever on your lease. Some are 48 hours, some are 72.
It's all about the contract. It's about the paperwork. So we spoke a while back, if you guys follow us, about paperwork. Like when you're going to get into business with a partner, make sure your paperwork is right. At the end of the day, the same thing holds for your tenants. It's about paperwork, right? It's about the contract. You can't just void that contract because you feel like it. They can't void a contract without penalty. They ask for the security back and they void the contract, not getting that money back. So it goes both ways. Go ahead. Sorry.
No. I'm a little confused on how I can't say something to you, and you're in my tenant, and you're not in my place, and you're not.
You say whatever you want.
Well, I'm kicking you out.
You got to go through the proper protocols.
What's the proper protocols?
In the state of Florida, there's a law called stay in your ground. So if you come to my property that I have legal rights over and you try to assault me, I can officially stand my ground. And
whatever that may be.
I can use force.
So what you're saying is now I can get shot at my property? That's what you're saying?
You can definitely be a victim.
I don't even want to be in real estate no more. Fuck this shit.
I get it. Hey, bro, tell me how you really feel. Don't hold back. Don't hold back.
Jerry's such a fool.
There's another part of this video. I'm not sure if it's on this one, but it's like one of the trickle effects to this video where, and we're gonna deeper dive into this, but Lance said something about paperwork, right? It's all about the contract. It's all about paperwork.
Yeah.
In this situation, that's not 100% true.
All right.
Because if you when you dive into these videos, I'm not sure if it's on this one or a couple
says
of
something. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. She says
absolutely. I remember.
She's not the initial tenant.
Her best friend is or something like that.
Her best friend is the initial tenant. She moved in with her best friend, according to her, and she's lived there for 4 years.
1,000%.
And if she's getting mail
on it, I get mail. So she has squatter rights.
Squatter rights.
Are you? Hey, amazing. Wait.
But you know what's crazy? The mail is her paperwork, which is crazy.
No, she doesn't even need paperwork. Squatter rights don't need paperwork.
So you're saying nothing at all? Period.
Nothing.
Wait.
Just the fact that she's occupied it.
Yeah, if you have a book bag in that property, a pillow, a shoe, a sneaker box that you could show belongs to you, that you've been residing in this property. Like I said, something as small as a pillow, a bed, a book bag, something that belongs to you is in that property. Squatter rights.
Wait a minute. So now technically you're not on the lease. So technically you're not even supposed to be in my property. And you're telling me I could still lose walking in there, throwing you out.
Well, lose in what way? Like
the cops get called and I gotta walk the fuck out.
Yeah. Because hypothetically, you should have never been here.
So DT, let me ask you.
You continue to get me mad about real estate. I'm telling you right now, this is killing me.
Yeah, says a guy with a big portfolio. So
Devil's advocate.
So and actually, now I'm. Before I know, we're sitting here chit-chatting about it and we know where we stand, whatnot. But now I'm concerned because now you said something that actually, now I'm about to settle in for real. So you're telling me someone can claim occupancy just by having materials there or items there. But if they're there for one day, if they're sleeping over, all of a sudden they can claim occupancy.
I mean,
it was 30 days. I thought it was 30 days, to be honest.
No, so what you're, if somebody just comes over my house, let's say my 18-year-old son invites one of his girlfriends over to stay over, right? Or whatever, and they stay the night at my house. Then tomorrow they don't want to leave. That's a whole different ballgame.
Okay, I just want to be very clear.
Right.
Because
if the property is vacant, so even if the property is not vacant, let me give you a real life example. I live at a property. Okay. I move in my whoever, friend, brother, sister, doesn't matter. I say, I don't want to be at this property no more. I'm out of here. I give a 30-day notice. I leave. My roommate, whoever they were, decides they don't want to leave. You got to evict them.
What if you have in the contract saying that you cannot have anyone living in the property that's not on the lease?
You have to evict them.
Okay. All right. Play the video before I really kick DT out. That's crazy. Man. Yeah.
Can't kick me out. You gotta have fun.
And this is why I'm getting ready to put this online so that people can see what kind of homeowner you are. That's why I recorded everything. Good night. Get the fuck out and goodbye. Get the fuck out and goodbye. Bye. No, leave the door. No, close the door because it's my respect as someone who lives here. That's why I have mail here. I've been here for 4 years. Close the door.
You see what she says? I got mail here.
Please close the door. Hey guys, I'm back with a follow-up from my last video. I do appreciate the support and all you assholes with your racist agenda. You know, I don't give a fuck, right? So anyways, I called the Florida State Board of Realtors or whatever. The gentleman was very helpful, tried to help me find license. They do not have a license number for her, or it could be in another name, like her maiden name, or if she got remarried or something like that. So that's an issue. But they said that they can sort that out just to file the complaint, which I'm going to do tomorrow. And
so what is she doing?
I guess a better question is what made her racist? At one point, if the owner wasn't,
that was the whole situation. That's the whole situation.
She said, one thing about me, man, I listen very, very well. I pay attention to detail. So the racist part about it, in which she's, you know, what's coming out of her face is that the comments. She's talking about people who saw the video and made comments to her, probably derogatory on social media.
Yeah.
You know, saying that, you know, maybe they saw the color of the people that were coming to the house, and then they saw the color of who she was, and then they referred to her as whatever.
We're gonna back it up. We're gonna back it up. Let's listen again.
Race.
Back a follow-up from my last video. I do appreciate the support and all you assholes with your racist agenda.
Okay.
You know, I don't give a fuck, right? So anyways, I called the Florida State Board of Realtors or whatever. The gentleman was very helpful, tried to help me find license. They do not have a license number for her, or it could be in another name, like her maiden name, or if she got remarried or something like that.
What is she doing? Let's go back to that.
That's a vague question. What do you mean by that? Because
why is she calling for the realtor's name?
First of all, there wasn't a realtor there.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. So in my opinion, and I don't want to speak specifically for Florida law and sound, you know, ignorant and somebody kill me in the comments or whatever, but in order to be a property manager in some states, you have to carry a broker's license.
Got it.
So I have to give her the benefit of the doubt. I don't think Florida is the same, but maybe they are, that the property manager has to carry a broker's license. Therefore, that's why she's saying what she's saying.
If anyone's from Florida, let us know in the comments, man.
Right. Now, with that being said, because her property, whatever the address is being handled by a property manager, and a property manager sends out one of their staff to that property to execute a warrant or do whatever they were just doing, that person who went to that property does not have to possess a license. The owner of the management company has to be a broker.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Right. Right.
Yeah. The owner of the representative does not have to have it. The owner has to have it. Absolutely.
Nevertheless, they represent the owner of
1,000.
You know, right.
So we want to deep dive, or are we going to keep on pushing?
Yeah, press play.
We got to give it the benefit of the doubt on that one. So,
okay.
You know,
all right.
push on that. So
that's an issue. But they said that they can sort that out just to file the complaint, which I'm going to do tomorrow. And
so the better question, sorry, keep on going on. The better question is, if she files a complaint, what does that do for you?
Well, first and foremost, what's the complaint?
They unlawfully walked into our property.
Oh, well, we don't know if they walked into the property, but tried to remove her, I guess, or tried to evict her without going through the proper steps. But I mean, I don't know what
I want to watch the rest of the video because I don't remember the details, like word for word what she said.
Okay.
I want to say that they were inside of her property when she came home.
Yes.
That they let themselves in with a key.
1000%.
Right? If I'm not mistaken. So
she was out of here. Get the F out and get
let's get to that point. Then we could dissect backwards because I don't want to speak, illegitimately or sound ignorant.
They're the ones that's going to deal with that. But aside of that, if someone here has a Florida real estate license or they're a broker, they know how to get this information. Her name is on the last video. Help me out, get in my inbox, and I'm going to come back with another follow-up. Thanks. Yeah, actually, there is more to the story. I ran out to run some errands, and when I came home, I unlocked my door, but there was a lock that was locked that I didn't lock. And so I'm like, the fuck? Somebody come open the door. It was a property manager. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing it? Oh, I just got word from the sister of my roommate that, oh, this so-and-so. I already know that because I live here. The sister lives in New York. And so we're gonna clean up and get ready to rent. First of all, I am a resident. She knows about me and I live here. What do you mean? 4 years at that. So then the landlord shows up. She says the same shit. I'm like, nah, let's call the cops. So the cops came. They spoke outside, which I have a video on that if y'all want me to post that. And then he escorted them out. He told me to change my fucking locks. I'm still fucking here. And I'm gonna still be here. If she want to do everything the right way, then go ahead.
Okay. Stop it there. So
it's already stopped, bud.
Yeah, listen, you're doing great. You're doing great.
I appreciate you.
So I guess what's happening here is that there was the property management, there was the landlord there, there was the police there. They were in the property.
Initially, it was the management and the landlord.
Right. Then they called the police and escorted them out. Correct. So what they were in the property saying they were going to get it rent ready. And she's saying, you do know about me. Been here for 4 years. What do you mean getting it rent ready? As if I'm invisible now. So what happened? What was the disconnect? What was the miscommunication here where they felt like they could override, her residency there and to get it rent ready and get it going? I mean, what are we missing here?
It would be speculation no matter what you say, right?
Right.
It's in situations like this, it's really, really, really tough to know what the facts are, right? Because you're only hearing one side of the story. There's always three sides. It's his side, her side, and the truth. Just based off of what her side of the story is, I'm gonna paint a picture that could possibly be reality, and it could possibly not. But this is my ears that have been trained to dissect. I have a bullshit meter that automatically naturally works in my brain. So listening
only you.
No, people who are in the business, they do all that. Right? It's just for me, I have it and I can't tolerate it. Now, obviously, I have a heart, I have compassion as well, but sometimes I just see past stuff. So if you listen to her story, and if I'm wrong, I stand corrected, and I'm willing to stand on what I said too, because I'm just going to go based off of what you said. You said, when I say you, I'm talking about this young lady. She said that she went to run some errands. She came back home. When she came back home, the property manager was inside with the landlord. She asked the landlord, "What the F are you doing here?" The landlord said, the girl, which is the sister, said that I should come here. So now I'm, getting a rent ready. Basically, I'm getting a rent ready. I'm figuring out what I got to do to clean it up and get the property re-rented. So now this young lady says, but what about me? I've been living here for 4 years, so on and so forth. Right. Meanwhile, this young lady also says that girl now lives in New York City.
Correct.
What that tells me is that young lady that lives in New York City was probably the one that was on the lease.
Correct.
She notified the landlord or the property management and let them know that she relocated.
She relocated, or she's not paying.
She's not paying.
And they're calling her like, what's going on? She's like, I don't even live there. You can do what you gotta do.
I vacated the property. I've relocated. Or maybe she gave a proper 30-day notice.
Correct.
Or 60-day notice, whatever. You don't know. We don't know that.
Right. But we do know that she no longer stays there.
We know that she forfeited her rights to live in that property.
Yep.
The property manager's obligation is to go to the property and inspect the property to see if somebody's still living there. Because if the person who's on the lease tells me that they vacated the property, I, as a property manager, have to assume that the property is vacant, whether or not there was 5 people living with her or 1 person living with her.
At the moment of time, nobody was
That's
there.
a great point.
Right. If the lady who was on the lease says to me, I no longer live at that property, I have to go check that property to make sure there's no, because the last thing I want is a squatter, right? The last thing I want is vandalism. The last thing I want is somebody leaving water on and flooding the unit or whatever the case may be. So yes, I'm going to knock and if nobody answers, I'm going to let myself in. Right. If I let myself in and I find that there's somebody like this young lady, which I wouldn't label as a squatter, if what she's saying is true, that she's lived there for 4 years, she was one of the residents here. Yes, we'd have to have a conversation. And no, I cannot escort her off the property. I have to go to the proper channels, which is an eviction.
Right.
But if you listen to the video, she said, I'm going to be out of here by tomorrow.
1,000%. She said that at the beginning,
Yep.
of the video. Lance,
sure did.
Explain to me what's the proper channel? What's the proper way to kick her out?
Yeah, I mean, you got to go through the court system. The same way you'd evict a regular tenant. You got to treat it like a regular tenant. You got to have a court date. You got to show up, get the eviction. From through the courts, and then she has a certain amount of time to get her stuff out and go, or it'll be on the side of the street.
What does that look like time frame?
I mean, your best, COVID or pre-COVID?
Right now, today.
Right now.
Post-COVID, or during
is it post though? Is it post-COVID forever?
Right. Well, I'd say post eviction ban.
Got you. I mean, 30 to 60 days.
Never. So
not in Florida.
this guy, and I say this because we're laughing, but post COVID is so new that we don't even know what it looks like.
Is that a damn trick question?
It was. The eviction ban was lifted, 45, 50 days ago. So there really hasn't even been one eviction. I mean, there might have been one, but there hasn't been many evictions in our market that we deal with specifically executed as of yet. So we really don't know what that time frame looks like.
So I stand by my first answer, forever.
That should have been your first, second, and third answer, but you recanted your statement. So that's kind of where he comes from. That's his statement. But in Florida, things are different because evictions have been lifted a while ago. So it may be what you said. So you're kind of right and wrong at the same time. But with that being said, there's extra details to that as well. So with a situation like this, if a tenant has lived there for so long, right, for 4 years, let's say, depending on the state laws, every state is different. You may have to give that. You can't just evict them. You can't just go tomorrow and evict it, right? There's a quitter pay notice. There's a 14-day notice. There's 30-day vacate notices. There's 60-day vacate notices. There's 90-day vacate notices. Depending on how long the tenant lived in that property, in certain markets, you got to give them a 90-day notice and then start the eviction after that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So the difference from us, our market in Florida, it usually takes 15 days. It usually takes 15 days. You have to step like
in the Florida market.
South Florida is where she resides at. This is where we talking about 15
and that's
days.
gonna be typically, I'm sorry, G, but I appreciate that information. That's typically gonna be in most Republican states.
Correct.
Right.
Most Republican
states are
a lot more straight shooters, stern,
landlord friendly.
It's gonna be a faster process. It's gonna be more landlord friendly.
Yeah.
Not because we're playing the politic game. This is just the fact of the matter. And
here's my issue though, guys. I want to say this before I forget. I apologize to you too.
You're good.
Here's my issue with her. We're at a time now where everyone jumps on the internet and does all this, right? So when she's trying to create her side of the story, don't you think you give the real bullet points where people will side with you? And I say that to say this: if that was me, and I was there and I was doing the right thing, I'd be, yeah, I'm not on the lease, but I've been paying. I said I'd take over the rent. I've been paying. I've been doing this. I've been doing that. You don't really get that from her. She's not going, I paid the rent, or I told them I would pay the rent and they're still trying to kick me out. Because I'll tell you what, as a landlord, if I can skip the rent ready, I have a tenant in there already, and then she's ready to pay.
Perfect. I'm gonna keep you.
I mean, what are we talking about?
Right.
So none of that comes out. She says none of that.
Right.
She says none of that where it's like, listen, I got a job. I did paying. This is no problem for me.
We got to treat this like a court case.
1000%.
Right? So whenever I walk into situations like this, because this is like my real life, I really walk into situations like this in real life. So when I approach these situations, it doesn't matter what your background is. It doesn't matter how tall you are, how short you are. It doesn't matter how much, what your stature is financially or what it's not. The complexion of your skin, how educated you are, how not educated you are. I just literally just boil past all the fluff and just listen to the facts of the case. I usually let people talk. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm letting her talk. And I'm just taking everything she's saying and I'm boiling it down to what I think may be close to the truth. Because like I said, there's 3 sides of the story. In this video, she said a few things. I'll be out by tomorrow. The lady lives in New York City, is who she contacted. I've been living here for 4 years. I get mail. These are all things that tell me you're not on a lease. These are all things that tell me that you knew you were supposed to be out by a certain date. And, obviously you're standing your ground. You know what I mean? You're letting them know, oh, you came a day early. I have until tomorrow to move out.
Right. Which
Then,
means she didn't negotiate anything as far as trying to stay there.
Nor is she trying to.
Right.
Nor is she trying to say, hey, listen, I know the amount of rent is this. I'll take it over. I've been here for so long. If you got to do a background check, do what you got to do. I want to stay here. Maybe she did, maybe she didn't. But if you follow, when we go forward even more in the videos, she goes into saying, I ain't paying rent until they fix it. They don't even fix this. They don't fix this. They don't fix
slow
that.
Slow down, BT. Let us get there.
So, all these facts, like, just put everything in a pot. But I want to play fair to her. Go ahead, G.
Just want to go back to the steps. What are the steps to get evicted?
Again, it depends on the states you're in, but typically you have to hand some type of a notice, some type of a notice. It's called a quit or pay notice, right? And that typically comes with like a 3-day notice, a 14-day notice, right? So you got 3 days or 14 days to quit residing in the property or pay whatever you owe.
Correct.
If you don't owe and they just don't want you back in the property, then they have to give you what's called a vacate notice.
Vacate notice. Is that considered a summons?
No. Depending on what state you're in, a summons is legal. That's like I'm summoning you to a situation because you did something wrong, right? There's something that was violated. There's an issue there. A vacate notice. It could be simple as I own a property. You're a tenant in the property. I want to move back into that property, so I want you to vacate the property because I want to reside in that property. You didn't do nothing wrong. You've been an amazing person, but just things in my life didn't work out, and now I have to move back into that property for whatever reason. So I'm asking you to please vacate. You didn't do nothing wrong. So a vacate notice is that. In different states, depends what it is. 14-day, 30-day, 60-day, 90-day. Really, it just depends on the state. Time-wise,
the state of Florida is a summons. They summons you. They summons you.
So a vacate notice is a summons.
1000%.
Okay.
That's the reason why I said it. So these guys to understand that we're playing 2 types of markets.
Gotcha. So I'm not familiar with, obviously, as you can tell, I'm not familiar with the logistics in Florida. I'm more, the states that I deal with are more on the Democratic side. The New York, the Ohio's, and the California states are like my kind of sort of what I'm familiar with. But I mean, it's essentially the law is the law. It's just formalities and terms, right?
1000.
So yeah, that's that.
Got it. All right, let's go. Let's dive in there.
One more question.
I want to play devil's advocate for her though. Go ahead.
Yeah, we're gonna play devil's. I was playing devil's over there, and you guys was kicking my ass.
This touches my soul right here.
Let me ask you another question. Let's say we go to court, and this is just because of the listeners in the audience. Let's say we go to court. Can we lose?
Absolutely.
She hasn't paid.
When you say we, you the
landlords.
Yeah.
We got to play both sides. So I want to play both sides.
Yeah.
She doesn't pay She does all this, and we go to court. Do I have the chance to lose? Is it a 50-50, 20-50, 20-80, what 40-60 losing streak? I can lose.
There's a lot of variables that come with that, but if you go on off of what she's saying, right? If she had one more day to move out, if her vacate notice or her summons or her move out date was the 25th of July, and they came on the 24th, and they went to court on 4 or 5 days later saying she wasn't out on the 24th, she'll win that case.
All right.
And what happens after that? She has one more day, or he might give her a week.
No, they'll act, depending on the judge, they'll just throw the case out, and then they got to refile all over again.
And also another angle is, they may not be paying and you're trying to evict them for non-payment, but then she can prove that this place is, it's a shithole and you're a slumlord and this needs to be fixed and all that. So therefore, once again, it might get thrown out. So there's variables.
Especially with COVID, even more so with COVID.
So she could do all this and still be living in the property.
Well, let's get the full picture.
I'm just throwing
it. But devil's advocate, we don't know that she's completely wrong, because if the management company and the owner came a day early and they do know that she's a tenant and they didn't award her the respect of notifying her that they're coming and whatever, like if she was supposed to move out one day later, if they didn't do their due diligence and what they were supposed to do on their end, and she is legitimate in what she's saying, she has every right not to leave that property. She has every right to be upset, and she has every right not to lose a case.
Correct. Okay.
Right. So now her attitude is like, now I'm staying.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? All right.
The next part of this is she's.
All right, let's go.
She's showboating. She's in the house showboating. And why they didn't escort me off the property.
So let me go ahead and make a response to this one. Throwing the race card. Okay, I came home from running errands to the property manager unlawfully in my home. Regardless if I'm on the lease or not, I'm still a resident here. If you don't know the laws in Florida.
Okay, so she's not on the lease.
Secondly.
You wanted to say something?
Yeah, rewind that. She said, if you don't know the laws in Florida, even though I'm not on the lease, I'm still a resident.
So let me go ahead and make a response to this one. Throwing the race card. Okay, I came home from running errands to the property manager unlawfully in my home. Regardless if I'm on the lease or not, I'm still a resident here. If you don't know the laws in Florida, maybe you need to go read. Secondly, she tried to illegally evict me without going through the proper channels when the landlord showed up. Also unlawful. Third, who the fuck says that the rent and shit has not been paid all of the other months? Now, of course, this month she's not getting shit. If you didn't watch or listen to the other videos, I have a whole bathroom where the lights aren't working and the outlets aren't working also. And if you don't know anything about the laws in Florida, if shit don't work in your apartment, include washer, dryer, your sink, plumbing, whatever, you can legally withhold the rent. So I don't understand.
Wait. First of all,
I don't know if you could do it. If you can't, tell me you can't. You see where she was hitting the switch? There's like 3 different switches or outlets or plugs there. I don't know if you can go back and try to pause it right on that.
Whatever, you can legally.
I'm gonna tell you right now. What if?
Right there. Okay, go ahead. We can have this conversation right now.
What? First off, let me ask you a question. She just took the light bulb out. Now it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
What are we talking about?
See, this is the thing where I don't want to speak, without knowing. So I don't really know Florida law, in depth like that. I just know laws in Republican states are a lot more landlord friendly, and
correct.
I don't know it to be a fact that if lights don't work and outlets don't work in a bathroom, that you can legally withhold rent for that. I don't know that to be a fact.
Yeah, 1,000%.
And if you do
Especially-
that,
and especially if how many times did you contact the property manager to fix it? All you doing is just stopping the rent. So we kind of don't know what's going on. Don't get me don't get it wrong. But from what we're listening to or what we're watching, she's doing it all wrong. But the reason why she's winning is because the law is certain ways, and that's how she's
according to her.
Correct.
According to her.
so my thing is, if you don't pay, my advice would be to a tenant, if things are incorrect or not up to par in your property, you should put that money in an escrow account or a savings account, just to show when you go to court that you have the funds.
That is actually a legal way to do it.
So you're not doing it because you don't have the funds
or receipts of money orders.
Correct. Or receipts of money orders, right? But also my thing is this, it goes back to what I said before. She's like, and who said the rent before wasn't paid? My thing is, you never said it was. That's kind of my issue. And nowadays, like I'm saying, she's doing all this for social media, right? For the whole world to see it and know it. But she's going to leave out those type of details. If she paid the rent, I would think that'd be the first thing she said. I paid rent in this.
There's two major details in her story that with her phone, if she had recorded, would have made it more legit and made her more of a hero to me, if anything, right? Number one is when the police officer told her to change the effing locks.
Right.
She recorded that conversation. She told him to leave the door open. Why she ain't show that?
That's
1,000%. Why she didn't play the recording of what the police officer told her?
Right.
Number one. Number two is what you just said. Why she never said, I pay rent. There's no old rent due here. Rent is up to par. Yeah, and then her explanation was, who said rent wasn't paid the last few months?
That's the key of listening, right there.
He damn sure ain't getting this month's rent, because if you guys watch the other videos that I posted, the bathroom light and outlets don't work.
Let me ask you a question.
State of Florida, A, B, C, D, and E. But hold on before you go there, G, one second. Because I don't want to lose this point. I don't know the laws in Florida to be what they are, right? What I do know is they're a lot more landlord friendly, right? What I also know is the laws in like the Democratic states are a lot more tenant friendly. Okay. So if I'm in a place where the laws are more tenant friendly, right? And if I'm telling you that in the most tenant friendly state in the United States of America, it's not lawful for you to withhold rent if bathroom lights and outlets don't work.
1,000%.
Then in my common sense, rational, that is not a fact for Florida law.
So that's the reason why I was going to ask that question. Living conditions. Mm-hmm. That's when we have to talk that conversation of withholding rent. Living conditions you cannot fathom yourself living there.
Yeah. Even still, when you go to court, I've been to courts when we're going through evictions and tenants will come and they'll say, I haven't paid rent for X amount of months and I have the receipts here because, there was this wrong and this was wrong and this was wrong and this was wrong. Right. And, and I'm speaking from the management perspective. When have you ever told us that anything was wrong?
That was in the conversation too. It has to be written or in writing that they contact you saying this and this and this and this and this was wrong. And I can't live here.
Don't let me sit here and stand and be like tenants are, negative and management and owners are positive. No, that ain't true. Because
we're just breaking down this situation and how things relate.
Just like this situation here.
When tenants,
the landlord did what she did was wrong.
Right.
But what was if from her words, she went out, this is what it is. Nobody really called them, stuff like that. Landlord was wrong because they can evict somebody thinking, oh, she's not on the lease and kicking her out. Yep. But now, just like DT just said, they got a call from the person who's on the lease. Mm-hmm. and I don't live there anymore. You could come clean that up. So it's two sides. But
Right. Yep.
from her words,
there's time
lawfully.
Right. Let me ask you this.
Oh, go ahead.
DP. The security deposit, is that paid back to the lady in New York? Or is that held until this situation is taken care of?
No, she definitely wouldn't get that back. Yeah, because she didn't leave the property the way she got it.
All right, she left it with somebody in there.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So I mean, at the end of the day,
but going back to that point. You have times with tenants. They're justified. The owner hasn't done certain things, and they have notified the owners, and the owners just, I'm not going to say slumlord, but yeah, sometimes slumlord, and sometimes they just don't do it, and the tenant's justified, and the courts will see it in their favor. But then there's other times where it's like, okay, you got to provide documentation that you've actually reached out to the management company or the landlord or the owner or whatever that looks like, and told them that you had a leaking faucet, that you had a bad shower, or you had a messed up light fixture here and there. If you don't have, especially now, it's 2022, right? People email and text everything.
Yep.
Or they record every other thing. So if you don't have some type of evidence on your phone or on something in 2022, chances are you really never did it. Like, it's just that simple. I mean, let's be honest.
All right, let's finish up this video.
So I don't understand where y'all getting off with this, oh, broke, whatever. I don't have to even dignify any of these comments. But the thing is, I'm not going to pay rent this month at all. And I'm still fucking here. And the police escorted them off the property and advised them, do not come back because she could trespass you. I mean, you have to go through the legal channels and protocol to evict me if you want to. And is the judge even going to give this shit to you? Bro, you cannot even sue me for this month's rent because the appliances haven't been paid. Do your research and read before you make assumptions, because y'all be making yourself look crazy. I'm still fucking here, and I will be here till further notice. I don't give a fuck how mad y'all racist motherfuckers get. And yes, that shit was racist. How the fuck would you feel if someone unlawfully came into your home and told you that you gotta fucking leave and you know the protocol of eviction? Come on now. Quit talking out y'all ass and support Black businesses. Happy Black History Month, by the way.
Okay, so like I said before,
Black business.
Yeah, I'm not. Well, obviously, the property management is not a black owned.
Right. what black business is she? Did she advertise a black business?
No, but it goes back to what we said before.
She's kind of pinpointing, because I guess she's getting some racist comments. So she's trying to put out some black.
But she's also saying it was racist
and support black. Okay, I got you.
Right. But she's also saying it was racist for them to come in here into the home as well. She says this
unlawful.
Damn well it was racist for them to come in here into the house and try to evict me.
I think unlawful.
How would you feel?
She said, yeah. How would you?
Do your research and read before you make assumptions, because y'all be making you sorted them off the property and advised them, do not come back because she could trespass you. I mean, you have to go through the legal channels and protocol to evict me if you want to. And is the judge even going to give this shit to you? Bro, you cannot even sue me for this month's rent because the appliances haven't been paid. Do your research and read before you make assumptions, because y'all be making yourself look crazy. I'm still fucking here, and I will be here till further notice. I don't give a fuck how mad y'all racist motherfuckers get. And yes, that shit was racist. How the fuck would you feel if someone unlawfully came into your home and told you that you gotta fucking leave and you know the protocol of eviction? Come on.
I would feel violated, not racist.
Yeah, I don't know if I would call it. I don't know if I would call it racist.
Yeah, maybe she has like other dealings with them in the past, and she got that vibe.
Yeah.
They treated her differently. I'm not saying I want to tread water lightly on that topic, because I'm with that. I'm with that.
We just don't have the information.
Yeah, I don't have the information to say if there's any relevancy there. But
she's not saying see, that's what I'm saying. But we're going off the snippet she's giving. She's saying it was racist for them to unlawfully come in and try to evict her.
I think she's using the wrong word. So, but she's not using. In her mind, she's not using the wrong word. But to the world, she's using the wrong word, because nothing they did was racist.
It was they violated her though, like you said.
They did things unlawful. Absolutely.
Thing you
They
can't
violated.
tell
Absolutely.
somebody how to feel, right?
Yeah, but correct. We can't tell how she feels, but you're using a word as racist.
Yeah.
And from what we have here, from the clips that we have,
yeah,
from what she recorded, it was nothing racist on the clip from me.
Yeah.
For me.
I always take that stance of, you can't tell somebody how to feel, right? So
right.
If she felt, if somebody, it doesn't matter who did it, when they did it, how they did it, why they did it. If she took whatever they did and said as you're racist, you can't tell her that wasn't racist. In her brain, that was racist. And this isn't a conversation of trying to sway her on whether or not it was racist. Because at the end of the day, this ain't what it's about. She's obviously making that comment because that comes from within, or she saw that in the chats of comments section or whatever. So I really don't want to dive too deep.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Lance, go ahead. You was gonna say something.
No. I get it. I mean, it's we're dealing with feelings and not all the facts. So it's hard to put it together as far as some of these things. But it is what it is. As far as the full breakdown of this is that, there's three sides of every story, like you said, DT. And it's that's our breakdown, that's our perspective from what we've seen and what we can give. Let
me chime into that though.
Yeah,
so at the end she said she tried to unlawfully evict me, and you guys got to read and do your research, and there's proper protocol procedures to do an eviction. She's correct. There is proper protocol and procedure for an eviction. Then she said she can't even sue me for this month's rent because the appliances don't work. That's not true.
Right.
She can definitely sue small claims court for whatever amount of money she's owed.
1,000%.
Whether
she win,
that's different. Right. If she has a leg to stand on, if her case is solid and strong, she'll win. If her case isn't solid, then she won't win. But because appliances don't work, may or may not be the cause of you. May or may not allow you to not pay rent, because if your appliances being repaired by the landlord is not in your lease, that's not a reason to not pay rent, because that's not the landlord's property. That's your property.
Right. It might be your fridge. I mean, I'm not responsible for your fridge.
If your fridge and your stove and your appliances don't work, it's not the landlord's responsibility. But if it's the landlord supplied it, now there's a couple different things. If the landlord supplied the appliances, and in the lease, it states that they're going to maintain the appliances.
Right.
Then yes, the landlord is on the hook. But if they supplied the appliances, but it's not stated in the lease that they're going to maintain them, then the landlord is not on the hook. And actually, they can come after you if you use that. Whatever. If it's a brand new appliance and you broke it in 3 or 4 years, they can actually sue you for that.
Correct. Yep.
They find like the oven door is broken and knobs are pulled out. Now, if the thing just stopped working because the actual equipment is bad, then obviously they can't sue you.
But neglect might be a different story.
Right.
Absolutely. Hey, listen, G, what'd you think about the video? What's your wrap up on it?
So I kind of played devil's advocate. So I understand the landlord's view. Absolutely. I understand the tenant's view. It's just that what we're in, if you have real estate, this is a business. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I was joking. Yeah, I was being better, lack of better words, a dick. But to be honest, this is a business. So the way you have to remove a tenant is through the courts, through the proper procedures. Mm-hmm. So yes, and if the tenant feel that she's living in an unlivable condition, she could do proper steps of not paying you. So it's the truth. But we do see both ways. If you do everything right as a landlord, you don't have those issues. If you do have those issues, you have the right to kick the tenant out. And if you don't do what you have to do for a tenant, he or she has all the right to do what she has to do and not pay you. So that's what I think.
Right. I say to sum it up, settle it in court. This would be settled in court, regardless of how many videos she makes, it doesn't matter because it's going to be settled in court. It's not going to be swayed any which way. She's going to have her arguments. They're going to have their arguments. She's going to have her proof. They're going to have their proof. you know, and a judge will decide on what the next step is, you know, and they'll go from there, really. But listen, guys, that's our breakdown. Let us know if you guys want us to do more breakdowns. I kind of enjoyed this, you know, finding real estate videos and really going through it and breaking stuff down. So I think it was great, especially for our first time. And we'll bring many more to you guys. But once again, thank you guys. Thank you, H.G.R.G family. We'll be right back.
Salute.
Yeah. What they say? I'm so divine, I'm so divine. Imperfection, perfection, my presence shines. My mental's parasailing maritime. They say I'm destined to read the palm line. Yeah, I'm so